Hello friends, I hope you're enjoying solving this riddle, the riddle of life. You know, we are only talking about facts. Then we find some clues, then we connect some dots logically to solve our riddle. And we are working on these three questions. What is life? What should we do? And why? In the previous video, we looked at what happens in our body when we are dying. If you haven't seen any of the previous videos, please watch them in a sequence, as this is the final video where we are going to connect all those clues and solve the riddle. And it is fun only when you watch it from the beginning. The link is in the description. Now let's take this further. We will find our final clue in this video and then we'll connect all the clues from all the previous videos. I'm not going to talk about traditional physics now. I am very much impressed with the new science which is called quantum mechanics. But first, why am I talking about this quantum mechanics? Because it is disclosing some secrets of existence which the traditional science didn't know about. I love this new quantum mechanics. In this new stream of science, they are looking into the atom. You know, atom, which is the smallest part of the particle. And they are experimenting on the subatomic particles and developing some theories on it. I'm not going to complicate this with a science discussion. Let's understand this in a simple way. To start this, I would like to show you the size of an atom so you get a context what are we talking about. You know, when you go to any particle's smallest part, the atom, and inside that atom there are some parts which are called protons and neutrons. Let's see how small they are. We will zoom in. Watch this. Now we'll come back to our topic, quantum mechanics. This is the science which is talking about these subatomic particles which we just looked at, the protons and neutrons and other particles. In this quantum mechanics, there is a phenomena which is called quantum fluctuation. This says particle can pop in and out of existence at the speed of 10 to the power of minus 9 second. This means the quantum particle can come into existence and goes out of existence at the speed of billionth of a second. Let's understand this with an example. You know, when you go to buy a TV and let's say you are comparing different models, first thing you look at is the specification of a TV. And if you read that, let's say some TVs say refresh rate 60 Hertz And a better model, a more expensive model will say refresh rate 120 hertz. Have you ever wondered what is this refresh rate 120 hertz? You know the tiny pixels on the TV screen. Each pixel has refresh rate of 120 hertz. That means it can switch off and on 120 times in a second. That's called the refresh rate. And just like the TV screens made up of all of these pixels, which is flickering on and off 120 times in a second, you know, everything in this world is made up of quantum particles. They flicker billion times in a second. So, what does this imply? This means that everything is temporary. It's not permanent. Or it could be a projection. I looked up in ancient knowledge in the scriptures. This whole creation is known as Maya, which is a Sanskrit word. This word is made up of two parts, which is Ma and Ya. This translates as that which is not, means illusion. If the ancient knowledge is referring to this whole creation as illusion, and the modern scientists are now saying that this world may not be locally real. Finally, modern science is catching up with the ancient scriptures. Now it's time to solve our riddle. Let's connect all the clues we have found so far in all of our previous videos. I hope you have seen the previous video before going further. Now, our first question. What is life? Do you remember we spoke about in our first video, we spoke about CIA's secret project Stargate, in which they have trained some people to go in a deep meditation state and watch what's happening in another part of the world, and they had to report on it, which they did. This means we can exist outside our body. There was another example in NDEs. You remember when we spoke about near-death experience? When people died and then they came back to life and then they shared their out-of-body experience. This also means we can exist outside the body. So what does this all imply? The body is temporary. So our experience in this body is also temporary, and we can exist outside the body. So the answer is, this life is just a temporary experience and we can exist outside the body. Now let's look at the second question. What should we do? The clues were everywhere. Inside our body, outside our body. Do you remember when we looked at the frequency chart? I'm talking about the frequency chart of feeling. And when we looked at that chart, the high frequency love, which is also the healing frequency, we found out that our body's natural frequency state is love. Another clue, you remember the NDE, near-death experience? When they died and came outside the physical body, they said they felt they were surrounded by unconditional love. So, what should we do? The answer is love. But with whom? We have only two options. Something from this world. We just found out from this video when we spoke about quantum mechanics that this existence everything is temporary. Second option, we can love what's beyond this temporary creation, the source, the creator. Think about this. If the underlying code of this creation is love, body is made of love, the whole world outside the body has got the frequency of unconditional love. Think about this. If they have created this whole creation with love, imagine when you get to the source, how much love will you get there? Have you ever loved someone or something? It is a very sweet, happy and tingling feeling. This is just a small bite of the fruit. Imagine getting the whole tree full of those fruits. I'm talking about the source, the creator. You will get unconditional, unlimited love there. So the answer is love. Love the creator. Now we know what to do. But somebody is still going to ask, why? Why should I do this? This is a third question. Why? We realized that all the humans have an unending thirst in our first video. We have an unending thirst that doesn't stop till our last breath. And do you also remember we looked at what happens in our body when we are dying? In our last moment, when your conscious is scanning your brain, in the last 30 seconds for a quick flash of this life's journey before you die, and if you have been running after anything from this temporary world for your whole life, your conscious is going to look at that in the last moment, and you know it goes to the next body to continue its journey. That's where it will continue. So what do you think the answer is? Why should we do this? Because until the conscious gets what it wants, it will keep coming back again and again into a different body. Just to convince the last few, there will be people who are still not convinced. One more reason. Everybody is seeking happiness in life. We all want to be happy. Do you know? Happiness is a byproduct of love. So when you feel love, you also feel happy. Now we have solved the riddle of life. We have answered the three big questions. It's like finding the treasure of life. Now we know what to do and why. But here comes a new question. How? We have found the treasure, but how do we open this treasure box? Please let me know if you want me to create another series on how to do this. I can show you very simple and very effective ways to do this. I hope you liked this series. Keep smiling. I'll see you again. For the next video's notification, click on the bell icon and select all.